Ancient Rome, a civilization of grandeur and glory, yet beneath its golden veneer lurked a shadowy underbelly. When we cast our minds back to ancient Rome, we are often met with the resounding echoes of a golden age. The Roman Empire, spanning 5 centuries from 27 BC to the 5th century AD, was a time of remarkable achievements. Majestic architectural marvels like the Colosseum and the Pantheon were erected. Intricate road networks were crafted, connecting the vast empire. Rome's legal system, the basis for many modern laws, was refined. It was a time of poets and philosophers, of grand triumphs, and of a culture that still influences us today. But, as the saying goes, every coin has 2 sides. While Rome basked in the glory of its achievements, a dark spectre loomed in its majestic shadows. This was a Rome not often spoken of, a Rome that was as much a part of its history as its celebrated triumphs. This was the Rome of wicked emperors, men who wore the laurel wreath not as a symbol of honor, but as a crown of fear. Power, as they say, corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Nowhere is this more evident than in the tales of Rome's most infamous emperors. Men who, once they ascended to the throne, transformed from mere mortals into tyrants, their reigns marked by unspeakable horrors and acts of cruelty. Their stories are not for the faint of heart, but they are an integral part of Rome's rich tapestry, a testament to the dual nature of power and the darkness that can lurk in the hearts of men. Now, let's plunge into the abyss and uncover the tales of Rome's most wicked emperors. These stories may chill you to the bone, but they will also offer a fascinating glimpse into a side of Rome that is often left in the shadows. So brace yourselves, for we are about to embark on a journey into the heart of Rome's darkness. Our journey begins with Caligula, a name synonymous with madness and tyranny. Born as Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus in 12 AD, Caligula ascended to the throne in 37 AD, following the death of Tiberius. His early reign was marked by generosity and reform, winning him the adoration of the Roman populace. But the tides of fortune were quick to change. Barely 7 months into his rule, Caligula fell gravely ill. When he recovered, he was not the same man. His sanity had seemingly slipped away, replaced by an unpredictable and violent temperament. His acts of tyranny became the stuff of legends. From declaring himself a living god to waging a war against the sea, his reign took a turn for the bizarre. The young emperor reveled in extravagant and debauched lifestyles, draining the imperial treasury. His erratic behavior, coupled with his blatant disregard for Senate, spelled catastrophe for the Roman political structure. Caligula's reign was marked by a reign of terror, with purges and executions becoming commonplace. But the Roman populace and Senate could only tolerate so much. In 41 AD, a conspiracy formed within the Praetorian Guard led to Caligula's assassination, bringing an abrupt end to his 4-year reign. The aftermath of Caligula's reign was a period of turmoil and chaos, with the Senate attempting to restore the Republic, only to be thwarted by the Praetorian Guard, who installed Claudius, Caligula's uncle, as the new emperor. Analyzing the impact of Caligula's reign, it's clear that his rule left a lasting scar on Rome. His actions destabilized the political and economic fabric of the empire. Yet his reign also served as a stark reminder of the dangers of absolute power and the consequences of unchecked madness and tyranny. Caligula's reign was a dark chapter in Rome's history, but he was not the last of his kind. The echoes of his rule reverberated through the corridors of time, setting the stage for the reigns of future tyrannical emperors. And while his reign ended in tragedy, the story of Rome's wicked emperors was far from over. From one tyrant to another, we move to Nero, an emperor whose name is etched in infamy. Nero Claudius Caesar Augustus Germanicus ascended to the throne at the tender age of 17, becoming one of Rome's youngest emperors. His reign, however, was far from child's play. Nero's rule was marked by extravagance, debauchery, and brutal acts that sent ripples through the Roman Empire. One of his most notorious deeds was his alleged role in the Great Fire of Rome. This disaster, which took place in 64 AD, destroyed much of the city. Rumors swirled that Nero himself had ordered the fire so he could rebuild Rome according to his own grandiose vision. While his city burned, it's said that Nero merely fiddled, indifferent to the chaos unfolding around him. But the Great Fire was just the tip of the iceberg. Nero's reign was also marked by a brutal persecution of Christians. He blamed this new religious sect for the fire, leading to a horrific campaign of torture and execution. Christians were thrown to the lions, burned at the stake, and subjected to unimaginable cruelty, all at Nero's command. Nero's rule came to an end in 68 AD, not at the hands of an assassin or in battle, but by his own hand. With the Senate against him and rebellion in the air, Nero chose suicide over capture. His last words, "What an artist dies in me," perfectly encapsulate his dramatic and egotistical nature. The aftermath of Nero's reign was a period of chaos and instability. His death marked the end of the Julio-Claudian dynasty, ushering in a year of 4 emperors as Rome struggled to find its footing. His tyrannical rule left a lasting scar on the empire, casting a long shadow over the rulers who followed. Nero's story is one of power and madness, a macabre tale that shook Rome to its core. His name remains synonymous with tyranny, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can arise when power is placed in the wrong hands. Our journey into Rome's dark past brings us to Commodus, a despot who fancied himself a god. Commodus, the son of Marcus Aurelius, ascended to the throne in the year 180. Unlike his philosopher-king father, Commodus had a different vision for Rome, one that revolved around himself. His reign was characterized by self-indulgence and a blatant disregard for the traditions and institutions that had shaped Rome. A defining feature of Commodus's rule was his obsession with the gladiatorial games. He saw himself not just as the emperor, but as Rome's greatest gladiator. It was common to see the emperor in the arena, fighting exotic animals and men alike. But these weren't fair fights. Commodus often fought opponents who were wounded or unarmed, turning the noble sport into a spectacle of his invincibility. Yet his ego didn't stop at the gladiatorial arena. Commodus proclaimed himself a living god, renaming Rome as Colonia Commodiana, the colony of Commodus. He even went as far as to commission statues of himself as Hercules, reinforcing his self-deification in the minds of the Roman people. But his vanity and disregard for Rome's traditions didn't sit well with the Senate. Their discontent, coupled with his erratic rule, led to a plot against the emperor. On the last day of the year 192, Commodus was assassinated, ending his 12-year reign. Commodus's rule left an indelible mark on Rome. His obsession with gladiatorial games strained the empire's resources, while his self-deification undermined the sacred institutions of Roman society. His reign was a stark departure from the Stoic principles of his father, Marcus Aurelius, and marked the beginning of Rome's decline. Commodus's reign marked the beginning of Rome's decline, a stark reminder of the dangers of absolute power. As we emerge from the shadows of Rome's past, we carry with us tales of tyranny and madness. Let's take a moment to revisit the dark tales of Rome's infamous emperors. We journeyed through the chaotic reign of Emperor Caligula, whose wild extravagance, unpredictable behavior, and shocking cruelty marked a turbulent chapter in Rome's history. His story remains a potent symbol of how absolute power can lead to absolute madness. Next, we delved into the tyranny of Emperor Nero, whose rule was characterized by vanity, extravagance, and a callous disregard for his people. Nero's reign was a reign of terror, marked by the Great Fire of Rome and the brutal persecution of Christians. His tale serves as a chilling reminder of the lengths a tyrant will go to maintain power. We then ventured into the despotism of Emperor Commodus, whose obsession with gladiatorial games and disregard for state affairs led to Rome's decline. Commodus's rule, marked by self-indulgence and neglect, is a stark reflection of how unchecked authority can lead to a nation's downfall. As we reflect on these tales, an overarching theme emerges: the dangerous dance between power and corruption. Each tale is a testament to how unchecked authority can lead to the erosion of moral values, the propagation of fear, and the eventual downfall of an empire. The dark tales of these emperors are not just stories of individuals gone astray, but are also broader narratives about the human condition. the intoxicating lure of power, and the devastating consequences when that power is misused. These tales from Rome's past are more than just historical accounts. They are timeless lessons about the dual nature of power, serving as stark reminders of the potential for good and evil that resides in those who wield it. These dark tales from ancient Rome serve as stark reminders of the dual nature of power and the perils of despotism.